I'm Chief Meteorologist Carly Smith, and at the National Tropical Weather Conference, we had the opportunity to talk about everything hurricanes, but something very important is insurance. And so I have brought in Andrew Femath with USAA to tell us a little bit more about how we can be better prepared when it comes to hurricane season and insurance.
Absolutely, Carly. Thank you for having me. Now, it's one of those where we blink and we wake up and it's hurricane season. The good news here is that we're coming off of a quiet year. The bad news is that there's potential for some complacency. So really, our purpose right now are just to share those simple things that we can do. You prepare now and hopefully avoid headaches later.
Yeah, and so what are some of the key things that people should be doing to prepare and make sure they have the right coverage at
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's key. So there are three places that we should put our immediate attention. The first is our home. And so make sure that your home is prepared. And it's as simple as walking outside, identifying are there any trees or branches that are hanging over or near my home. You got to get rid of those. We see countless claims every year of branches coming down onto homes and they cause significant damage. So that's number one. Number two is having a plan. And so if a major storm comes and if you plan to evacuate, have your evacuation plan. And the key there is to also remember not only your family, but also your pets as well. Consider them in your plan. Now, if you would choose to stay home and ride it out, it's important that you have an emergency kit that has everything from water, food, batteries, medicine. We tell our members, Carly, that anything that you need to prepare for 3 days minimum without power and without water, that's what you need to have. And last but not least is reviewing your coverage. So setting aside those 15 minutes to call your insurance company and just confirm, do I still have the right coverage? Home values have gone up recently. Make sure that you have the right limits, and that's an important step that you want to do ahead of time.
Yeah, and then something important in Texas, flood insurance. And that's not always simple during hurricane season. You can't always call that day and get it. Tell us a little bit why.
Absolutely. First and foremost, it's important to know that flood insurance is a separate coverage. And so if there's a storm surge, if a river overflows, or you just get a ton of rain, if that flooding comes from outside the home, generally, you have to have a flood policy. And you hit the nail on the head, Carly. A flood policy does require a 30-day waiting period. So you can't wait to see the storm come in the Atlantic. That is truly a step that you want to take now so that you can have that coverage. Unfortunately, we see it where folks do not have the proper coverage, and it can be pretty significant financially for them and their entire family.
And with Texas wind insurance, that's a similar thing as well, right? If a storm's in the Gulf, that it's basically too late in that scenario.
Yes, and what typically happens is once the storm has formed, insurance companies across the entire industry will put a cap, and at that point, you can no longer get a policy for that exact moment. And so the key here really is action early, avoids headaches later.
And then something that I always think about, because I have not really done it, is how important is it to kind of have a list of your valuables and things that you would want replaced if the storm comes?
Absolutely, and take it even further than a list. What we tell our members is pull out your phone, open up all of your cabinets, and just do a slow video where you capture all of your belongings. Now, God forbid, you never have to need it or use it, but if there is something catastrophic like a hurricane or even a fire, it's important to have that, and that will really allow you to quickly get back on your feet and rebound as quick as possible.
And preparing for the storm, that's important when it comes to getting money back from insurance companies too, right?
So here's what we do. We try to get our members to file their claim as quickly as possible because we want them to be at the top of the list for the contractors and the first ones rebuilt. And so that's our priority. So if at any point you do receive damage, the easiest way to file a claim is on the mobile app for your insurance company. Get to the front of the list so that you can get back on your feet.
Anything else you would like people to know when it comes to insurance and storm preparedness?
You know, we've talked about our home, but just a friendly nudge on our cars. It's important to remember our cars and that reminder to, if you have a garage, take the time to clear it out so that you can protect your vehicles in the garage, not only for hurricanes, especially for hail damage. We're in the midst of it, so those are those reminders.
Yeah, and we had a crazy hailstorm last November where a lot of people received hail damage, and we're not used to that as well down in South Texas. So since you mentioned it, any tips when it comes to hail as well?
So the key with hail is, number one, you need to make sure you have comprehensive coverage on your policy, on your vehicle. And comprehensive is truly a comprehensive coverage. So whether a branch comes down and strikes your vehicle, whether it's hail, whether it's flooding, or even if it gets stolen, unfortunately, that's why you have that coverage. So it is an important coverage to have, and it's very expansive.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time. It was great talking with you here at this conference.